we talk about 57% of the Democratic Party consist of women, our presence needs to be more dominant than it is in this platform. And so it was really a disappointment to me as I read the platform that women are mentioned only occasionally. And we have to make sure that leaving this convention, that the Democrats understand that every single policy that Mr. Obama advances has an aspect of it that addresses women as unique human beings with issues that need to be addressed in the government or in the administration.
So if you, on the question of urgency, we've as a nation been pouring a lot of money into the military of our own country. We've been pouring oodles of money into the military of other countries too. Pakistan's a great case in point. And yet I read a study the other day that 80% of Pakistanis are living below the poverty line, don't have enough to eat. Cities in real crisis. You were there. How does the urgency look?
No
from
water.
That point of view?
You turn on a tap and you're just looking at it, and it's it's 110 degrees outside. There's no electricity. There are acute food shortages now in Pakistan, in India, and in other countries. We're fighting 2 major wars in Afghanistan and Iraq, and we're in danger on embarking on a 3rd war. And so it's really urgent that we impress upon Senator Obama not to attack Iran, because he has also been, enunciating this refrain of all options are on the table. What does that mean, all options are on the table? It means we will use the gun if we want to. And so he has to understand, and we have to know, once we start a war, it's extremely difficult to stop, as we're finding with 7 years in Afghanistan, 5 years in Iraq, and if an attack on Iran occurs, it's going to have disastrous consequences. And I don't feel there's any urgency also around environmental issues, quite frankly. There's a lot of lip service paid to it, but there's a lot of talk about peak oil, but not about peak water, which I think is going to be the major issue of the 21st century.
Jim, I need you to wrap this up with the kind of challenges we're facing and the kind of, the kind of compromises our politicians continue to make. What's your pitch to the change makers out there that this time things will be different?
Well, we're the change makers.
That's right.
I mean, the significant thing about the Obama phenomena is not Obama, it's the phenomena. The fact that millions of people rose up and, as Van said, created this guy, and not just this guy. They created Hillary Clinton, they created John Edwards, they created Dennis Kucinich. We have a very progressive party this time that has gone out there, not as far as we want them to go, but this has been the most progressive. I spent my youth trying to get rid of Lyndon Johnson, not realizing he would be the most progressive president of my lifetime. So I'd like to go further. And what gives me hope is what's right here in this room, what you represent, Laura, and this great movement in the countryside. That's the only hope is in the people themselves. I'll tell you a very quick story. There's a guy came, he was a tourist in Bangkok, and he came out of the Great Temple, and there was a monk standing over here, and he had his camera, and he signaled to the monk, could I snap your picture? The monk nodded, he snapped it. Over here was a boy selling water. So he went over and bought a bottle of water, but he didn't get his change back. And he pointed to his palm, thought maybe there was a language problem. He said, don't I get change? And the boy looked at him and looked over at the monk and then looked back at him and in perfect English said, change comes from within.